thank you, IMPRI, for inviting me. It is really nice to see that the urban issues are increasingly getting prioritized in successive budgets. Coming to this year's budget in particular, I find it nice that economic roles of the cities are getting recognized. Cities are indeed engines of the economic growth, and I mean that recognition had long been overdue. And so there has been a positive move in that regard, which is very encouraging. I find another interesting idea is that, I mean, about the creative urban renewal. Old city areas in most Indian cities have become excessively congested and are in a very bad state in terms of environmental qualities. Um, taking up the renewal of the old city areas or brownfield regeneration is definitely the need of the hour. And interestingly, in some of the smart city projects, there was a move in this direction to have an area-based approach in some of the small parts of the old city areas, mainly from the angle of tourism and heritage and cultural preservation. But brownfield regeneration is also a very, very tricky issue. And unless it is done in a properly planned manner, this can become a tool for the real estate. And unprecedented, I mean, it can lead to a lot of destruction of the old areas, and I mean, can lead to gentrification and displacement of large numbers of people, and also loss of cultural heritage. So brownfield regeneration needs to be definitely it is needed, but should not be done in a haphazard or in one size fits all kind of manner. It needs to be done in a planned manner. Second interesting idea is that, I mean, that idea about 100 food streets, these can surely have an impact on the local livelihoods, because as all of us know, that informal sector forms the bulk of the city workforce, and I mean focus on the street vendors and informal livelihoods that can get a boost through these food streets. But the sad reality is that in many cities, the um, vending and non-vending zones, which are required to be demarcated under the Street Vendors Act of 2014, or town vending committees are to be formed to take into account the voices of the street vendors. So this has not happened in many cities. So this food street could be a good step in that direction, but I mean it should be done in concurrence with the street vendors, and it should not be just a tokenistic approach towards development of one particular street, but should be seen in the larger context of urban informality in the cities. Also, I see that, I mean, there are some positive elements also there in the city in this year's budget, particularly the focus on transit area oriented development and thrust towards metro rail. That is definitely a very positive thing. But again, the question is how the metro rail projects and the transit oriented developments are going to be prioritized. There is a concern here that these projects should not turn into a supply side issue. That, you know, I mean, the cities would go for metro rail projects or transit-oriented development without proper planning. And Professor Chetan Vaidya made this point very interesting at the beginning, that, I mean, most metro rail projects are not really commercially very viable. So if the cities start building metro rails, So and without adequate ridership, then it might turn out into a white elephant. So that is a big area of concern, that how these projects are going to be um, implemented. What is particularly uh, bit disappointing in this year's budget, I feel that there has not been much talk about the environmental aspects of the cities. Most cities in India are now facing unprecedented environmental challenge. This year, in particular, almost all the cities faced huge problems due to urban heat island effect. And every year during the monsoon months, whether it is now Mumbai is getting flooded, or other in the other year, whether Chennai is getting flooded or Bangalore is getting flooded. Um, so the environmental issues, challenges facing the cities, uh, to me, it's a most important aspect that needs to be addressed. And the budget, it's of course it is not possible to address every challenge through the budget and urban development. At the end of the day, it's a state subject. But as the role of the national government in our three-tier governance system, in the urban system, has increasingly become important. So then there is a scope for the national government to set the action agenda through the budget. And there, I think more focus on the urban, the environmental concerns facing the cities and the climate change impact could have been helpful. And of course, I mean, the issue that we need to move away from, as Professor Chetan Vaidya mentioned, Professor Mahala has also mentioned, that we need to move away from this um, project-based approach. In this, the government is giving metro rails or electric buses, and let, I mean, to move towards a more planning and the city level policy and the city level master plan and the state level urban policy and the empowerment of the cities. So that those are indeed actually the need of the hour. And I mean, the government, because the central government has got the financial power, and by leveraging that financial power, it can actually steer the states to prepare the state level urban policies. I think, I mean, the budget could have set some direction in that way. So with this, I would like to stop now, and we'll wait for the next round of